Hi, folks. Bob Mannery here. You're listening to A2D Radio, real sports talk radio for the fans, by the fans, no agenda. These guys are the best in the business. Hashtag it. No notes.
Live in the BMW of Atlantic City Studios, first edition of Sports Sound 2018. Been a little while, Brad. How we doing? Happy New Year.
Thank you.
Rob Brinkman, Brad Ryer, A2D Radio, jacked to be getting going here in 2018. Frank the Tank on the ones and twos as usual. All right, we got about 15 minutes before we get into wild card weekend, divisional playoffs, big game on Saturday at the Link. We're gonna get into it about 15 minutes, Frank, until the national championship picks off. We get some
Absolutely.
picks, some predictions in
I
here.
got
Get
the
ourselves
stream. I got
on
the stream
record.
going on right now.
Frank will be updating us throughout the broadcast about what's going on. I'm taking the Tide. I think it's going to be tough for Georgia to maintain. You know, that was an incredible game, the Rose Bowl. Unbelievable. One of the best college football games I've ever seen. Can they bring it like that 2 weeks in a row, emotion-wise? I don't know. Alabama's just kind of laying in the weeds. Everyone's saying they didn't deserve to be in the playoffs. I'll take Bama tonight. 24-21, Bama.
What about the fact that Georgia has home field advantage?
They don't have home field advantage. This game is not being played in Athens, Georgia. There's going to be just
You think?
Bama Nation's going to be well represented. What is it?
Yeah, I guess it will.
It's the Georgia Dome or whatever they're calling the Falcons' new stadium now.
The Mercedes-Benz Stadium.
So they have the Mercedes-Benz Superdome and the Mercedes-Benz Stadium.
Well, everybody's going to call this. Everybody's just going to call it the Superdome, so there's nothing to worry about right now.
That's a lot of bread and sponsorship there from Mercedes-Benz.
Yeah, definitely not a sponsor of ours.
I mean, well, no, we have BMW of Atlantic City
Absolutely.
Studios. Yeah,
the way Alabama handled Clemson, I think you got to give them the edge.
Clemson never had a shot.
No, they really. I mean, they just dominated that game.
They never have a shot. Never had a shot.
And as far as the emotional toll of beating Oklahoma, it's going to be tough for them to get up twice. I know it's a national championship game, but still, that was really. I mean,
I'm not buying all that home field advantage for Georgia stuff. Bama Nation's going to be there, just like Bulldog Nation's going to be there too. I mean,
well, let me ask you a question.
It's going to be loud. It's SEC teams.
Do you think this is a vintage Alabama team? Because I've heard that they're not quite. Not quite the
I don't think.
team
I mean,
that
Frank,
been,
he studies this stuff way closer than I do.
Right.
But no, I don't think this is a vintage
Alabama
team.
It's not the typical Bama team that we've seen in past years. I mean, everybody's saying this is not the best of their team, best team they had in years, but. I mean, they are going to push it to the limit against Georgia.
That team that had Ingram on it that knocked Colt McCoy out of the game in the national championship game.
Oh yeah,
that team was loaded. The team that beat Clemson 2 years ago, that team was loaded. Yeah, I don't think they're as good as that team, but you know, they have a lot of pros. Georgia has a lot of pros. There's a lot of five-star recruits on the field. That's why it's a national championship.
And some high draft picks as well.
The freshman quarterback on Georgia's tremendous. Fromm.
Jake Fromm. Yeah.
Now,
what are they going to do with Justin Fields next year?
I don't know. I think it's going to be the quarterback competition going down to the Georgia spring game and see how Fromm does. If Georgia,
Jacob Fromm's going to potentially win a national championship and lose his starting role.
It could be possible, but that all depends. If Georgia wins, then he's got the starting job for the next couple years now.
All right, Brad, who you got?
I got Alabama. I mean, you know, if you put a gun to my head, I'd have to take Alabama, and I'd spot the 3.5 points. Or if it's, I don't know.
3.5. I've seen 5. I've seen 4.5.
I mean,
I got 3.5. I got a good line, I think.
I mean, listen, with all respect to Fromm, I mean, he's still a freshman in a championship game. It's going to be tough. I mean, you know that Alabama defense is going to be loaded for bear.
I think the month off, Bama got healthy. They got some of their linebackers back.
I mean, they
didn't play against Auburn.
Yeah, they really looked the part against Clemson. I mean, they were just they were devastating out there. And
All right.
Clemson couldn't get anything done.
Frank the Tank, who you got?
I mean, with 10 minutes left till kickoff, man, I haven't really put much thought into this
That's all
game.
right. I know you're a thinker, Frank.
I'm
So
a
if
thinker.
you- if
I
you
like
wanna-
to think. I mean, I think a lot on the fix
We'll
as well.
let you change your mind until the ball is kicked. How
I'm
about
not
that?
going to change my mind, but I mean, looking at this game looking at the tails of the tape, I mean, Alabama, they look like they're the better team, but I got to factor in this home field advantage for the Bulldogs, so I'm going to give it's going to be an entertaining game, but I'm going to give the slight nod to the Georgia Bulldogs.
Going
Take-
Georgia.
Going with the Dogs.
Wouldn't surprise me at all. And as dumb as I am, I picked 24-21.
Yeah.
Bama. That doesn't cover my spread, and I would lose money. So
Right.
what a dumb pick that was.
Yeah,
by
I would
me.
say 19. I'd say 19-16.
But
just
I
think it's
heard
gonna be a
like
real
the
defensive game.
but I heard that the over under for this game was 45. That which completely surprised me because I mean they both had some low scoring games. Except for the Georgia Oklahoma game. A great Rose Bowl by the way.
But Baker Mayfield
Yeah.
is great.
He's a great quarterback.
I mean, you have to take that into account. But all things considered, the Bulldogs also scored a hell of a lot of points against them too.
They
so
did.
Yeah, but Oklahoma's defense, all due respect to their season and
They're
the
not
season
as
they
good.
had,
It's not a great. It's not
that
a
is
great
not-
defense.
That is
No,
not an
no,
SEC
no,
defense.
I mean, you definitely see this in a lot in the Big 12, where you see a lot of offensive performances. You see a lot of good offensive prospects, run and shoots, air raids, multiple offensive systems. So I was going to that Rose Bowl game. I know that this was going to be a high-scoring game, and see how Georgia was going to handle that, especially with the loaded defense that they had compared to Oklahoma's defense. But with this particular game, I mean, both really good teams. I think
You got to give Georgia's coach
Kirby Smart.
Kirby Smart. You got to give him a ton of credit for the defensive adjustments that he made at halftime.
Definitely.
Because in the first half, they looked like Swiss cheese, and in the second half, it was just a completely different team defensively.
Absolutely. But yeah, and even like leading up to the championship game, Kirby Smart was not fazed at all with the implications of a national championship. He was calm.
I mean, he's
and
no
cool.
spring chicken when it comes to coaching.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he was under Saban for, 8 years?
Yeah, he was under Saban for a while.
So he's paid his dues. I mean, he shouldn't be overwhelmed by
Yeah.
a big game with all the big games he's coached with Saban.
So yeah,
It should be a good game.
It's gonna be a good game.
We'll catch the end. Maybe we'll catch
How
the end on the radio on the
How
way
about
home.
How about UCF? A little love for them. What a
Did too.
performance!
Yeah.
Now they know
Perfection.
that they're not national champions, right?
I'm aware. I assume they're not. They know that they're not the real national champions.
All three of us know they're not national
Right.
champions.
No, we know that, but
I mean,
let's give them some love.
we
Though.
get-
That was a
a
good
great season.
Yeah, but I gave them some love. It's great that they went undefeated, but they've
It was a good win against Auburn, though.
Huge
I would
win.
Give them that.
they were
that-
given an inch and they've taken a mile.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And especially with what UCF has done this season, especially with like 2 seasons prior, they were 0-12, and Scott Frost taking a program, rebuilding it, finally reaching 13-0 before eventually taking the job in Nebraska. But UCF has definitely wowed me a lot. Going to next year, I know they're probably going to fall back to earth, but not completely to like a 6-7 season, but probably like a 9-3 team. They're still going to contend,
But
but
you know what they're going to have? They're going to probably be able to get themselves a little bit better schedule.
oh yeah, you
that'll
definitely
help.
saw this with the Boise State teams of the 2000s,
Right.
and you didn't see Boise State parade around with a national champions T-shirt, but
Are they go undefeated?
they went undefeated.
They did that Fiesta
the
Bowl.
Fiesta
where
Bowl
they
year,
They
yeah.
did the lateral, right?
Yeah,
That was an undefeated.
That was the undefeated year. They weren't crowned. I think they finished the poll, I believe, 4th that year.
Do they beat anybody really significant that year?
I'm going to look it up right now. Let me see. Who did they beat? I think they
when
won
I say
defeated.
significant, I mean like a top 10
All right,
team.
Frank. While Frank's
That's-
looking that up, let's get into Scanzano Sports poll question of the night, all regarding the Philadelphia Eagles. Game time, Saturday, 4:30. Brad, how many playoff games will the Eagles win? You got 0.
I have
They're
0.
one and done.
I
One
think-
game, they
I think
advance to the
they-
NFC Championship game.
Wow.
2
Did not
games.
expect that.
They win.
They have to win 3 to get to win the Super Bowl.
Correct.
So I'm going to say
2
0.
wins gets you there. 3 wins
Right.
gives you a parade. They're not winning 3 playoff games. Sorry out there. If you want to rip me in the comments, the Eagles aren't winning the Super Bowl. Their Super Bowl chances died on December 4th, 2017.
Yeah,
Carson Wentz.
and I'm biased because I'm a Giant fan. Just ask everybody.
Are you?
No, not
We
really.
never tell by your wardrobe. Never tell.
But I'm going to tell you why I honestly don't think that the Eagles are going to win, and that's against Atlanta. And we can agree to disagree. That's what we do here.
I haven't made any selections either way yet. How do you know what I'm going to say?
I don't know what you're going to say.
You're right, because
But-
I don't like the Eagles' chances.
Yeah,
I don't like the Eagles' chances on Saturday.
I just don't think when you have 2 even football teams in a playoff game, I always like to go with the quarterback.
That's
always
Matt
been
Ryan. And I
that's-
know he's never played well here in Philly, but
he never played well in a playoff game, period, until last year. And then he outdueled Aaron Rodgers. In Atlanta, they had one bad year, but Atlanta has been on the cusp for a long time. And they've been getting closer and closer and closer. This may be the year. I mean, I kind of look at them sort of like the Kansas City Royals. How they had a great year last year, and then they had the Super Bowl one and they lost it. And then the following season, during the regular season, they weren't a 100-win team, but they were good enough to get there. And then once they got there, they won the whole thing. And that's kind of how I'm looking at Atlanta as far as getting back to the Super Bowl. Now, I don't know if they can win a Super Bowl, but I could see them getting to the Super Bowl again. I mean, I think Atlanta and New Orleans are going to be. I think Atlanta and New Orleans are both going to win.
I think both seeds in the
games.
NFC are going to
Yeah,
see you later, one and done.
I don't like Minnesota, and I don't like the Eagles.
Now look, here's my logic. You got to score at least 21 points to beat the Falcons. Is that a fair assessment?
Absolutely. They're
Not
gonna
only
shut
do
them
you
out.
not only do you have to keep Julio Jones Sanu. That's the best wide receiver tandem in the league, for my money. Devontae Freeman and Tevin Coleman. That's a pretty good. It's not the best because the Saints have the best.
No,
but
they're good, and
they're
Devontae
top
Freeman
2 or 3 running back.
Devontae Freeman can really catch the ball. I mean, he's
They're
a deadly
both
receiver.
both those guys can.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is with Atlanta, they're going to score. The question with the Eagles is
Especially if it's going to be 45, 50 degrees on Saturday.
Yeah,
like
it's
they're
going to be
potentially talking
it's
about.
going to be it's going to be a nice day.
That's going to be good for Foles, but it's going to be even better for Matt Ryan too.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, folks. You know what we're going to do? Because you know what I found in my closet, Brad?
What?
Remember our Sports Hounds T-shirts?
Yes.
We were over at some other station. I won't say their name on the air.
How do you feel about that other station?
I like it here a lot better.
Yes. Me too.
But here's what we're going to do. Whatever comment convinces me, can sway me to pick the Eagles in this football game. Now, give me sound logic. Don't tell me, oh, the Eagles are at home, they're home dogs, or you're disrespected. No. That's not getting you a T-shirt. Give me sound logic. Now, I heard a couple stats on the radio driving over here that made me feel better about the game. I wish Carson Wentz was playing, so
Well,
we just
then
march right to the Super Bowl.
I was going to say then I would be
So
picking the Eagles.
whoever has the
but-
best comment that sways my opinion towards the Philadelphia Eagles, we'll get in contact with you. We'll send you a couple shirts to Sports Sound. You can rep around town. So we have a little contest going. So let's get the comments going. Convince me that the Eagles are going to the NFC Championship game. I see Michael Chromiak has tickets to the title game, so he wants them to win. I'm right there with you, man.
Wanting to win though and convincing us that they're going to
Right.
win is not. The
You don't
same
have to even
thing.
convince me. Make me feel better about it. Whoever makes me feel better about it,
This
the
is what I-
best,
This is what I
gets a
think
couple
needs-
Sports Town
This
shirts.
is what I think needs to happen for the Eagles to win. Okay, Jay Ajayi and who's
Corey-
the other running
Corey
back?
Clement.
Who's the other? Who's the Corey
Corey
Clement?
Clement.
Is Blount and Blount between the three
Blount.
of them? They need to have 30 carries.
I 100% agree.
Okay, if they are able to run the ball 30 times, and they can pass, say between 20 and 25 times, the Eagles win this game. That is the key to winning this game because they've got to A, control the ball, B, run and be able to beat up the Atlanta defense. They cannot expect Nick Foles to carry this team on his back.
He cannot.
He's not going to.
I swear to God, if I see him roll out and try and throw on the run in this game, I am going to. I'm going to be in Vegas for the game, so I'm living large this weekend for the divisional round.
I'll
freak out.
If Doug decides to
forget
go
these
Andy,
forget these RPO run pass options, 3-step drops, get the ball out.
Yeah, if he goes full Andy Reid, you're going to lose the game.
Touchdown, first down, check down. What's that? Is that Gruden? That's a Gruden camp thing,
yeah,
right?
That's kind of it. But you know what?
Touchdown, first down, get down.
Run the ball. You have the sport's best offensive line in the league. Run the ball. Okay? Atlanta is going even if Atlanta puts 8 guys on the line of scrimmage, run the ball and be committed to it. Because if you start getting into a run and gun with that team, with all the offensive talent, and there's a lot of possessions in this game, eventually the talent will wear and the Eagles will lose the game. If the Eagles can control the ball, it's kind of like back when the Giants won the Super Bowl in 1990. Okay? They're playing against a superior offensive team, but they were able to run the ball and control the clock and keep their defense off the field. This is what the Eagles have to do with Atlanta because they don't have Carson Wentz. Otherwise, if it was Carson Wentz out there, it'd be 45-21. Be an easy win for the Eagles. We wouldn't even be having this discussion.
Right. It'd be marching. It'd be the Eagles and the
it
Patriots,
would just,
Tom Brady would pass the torch to Wentz.
We'd be just waiting. We'd be just waiting for the Super Bowl to come for these two teams, and it'd basically be whoever stays more healthy throughout the playoffs.
All right, let's go to the Gibson Mare comment board here. Deion Brown, the audio is very low, still very low. Frank,
We're taking care of that right now.
All right.
Yeah,
my man.
I don't have anything at all on YouTube now.
Georgia's left guard. The Tom Arnone, I'm going with 2. Let's go. So 2 wins would get them to the Super Bowl. Is that good math by me?
Yeah.
So Tom has them representing the NFC in the Super Bowl. I wish I shared that optimism.
What makes him think that?
I don't know. Maybe he'll comment and tell us. What's up, guys? Going with 0. Don't make it past this weekend, unfortunately. Greg, unfortunately, I agree with you. Throw something out there or give you a couple shirts. Sway me in the direction of the Philadelphia Eagles. Give me something that I can sink my teeth into that gives me more confidence about this game. Because I don't think Nick Foles can score 3 touchdowns against this defense.
It's going to be tough. I mean, I just don't know if he can do that. You're asking a lot. I mean, if he can.
The special teams is going to have to really come to play. We're going to need a block kick. Kenyon Barner needs to catch the punt on the fly.
Yeah.
For once in his
agree.
life. Please, Kenyon, don't stand 45 yards back from the punter when it's 10 degrees outside. I know it's going to be 10 degrees on Saturday. Run up and catch the ball. If you don't return it, just catch it. It's hard to kick the ball in cold weather. Scoot up. Scoot up. Does anyone else notice that? Do you notice that when you're watching the Eagles? How many times?
I have not.
Kenyon Barner lets the ball bounce on a punt.
He does let the ball bounce.
It's extremely frustrating.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to win the field possession game.
And
you might have to block a kick. This front 4 has to get home.
Yeah.
The majority of this team's payroll salary cap is committed to the front 4.
They need to
Brandon Graham, Fletcher Cox, Vinnie Curry, first-round pick, Barnett, Chris Long.
You need to create
had
turnovers.
a good time. Timmy Jernigan. Where's Timmy Jernigan been? He hasn't done anything since he got paid, unless I missed something. We need these guys to step. We need these guys to step up.
Absolutely. These 2 playoff games have stepped up. I mean, everybody from the offense to the defense, they have been playing great for the past 6 quarters in the last 2 games of the season. I'll give the defense a lot of credit, but everybody else needs to step up. Jake Elliott needs to make the close field goals. Nick Foles needs to connect with Alshon Jeffrey. He needs to connect with Nelson Aguilar. He needs to connect with Zach Ertz.
He also needs to avoid the costly turnover
and especially the turnovers.
And he's got to make sure when he has a guy, he can't be missing him. Because
Absolutely.
one thing about Carson
Torrey
never-
Smith, can he
Carson
catch
never
the
missed
ball,
anybody.
please?
Right.
Carson
Or at
never
least
missed
draw a
anybody.
PI call, something. Something to help us.
Exactly. And but they're all capable of doing that. But Ertz is going to be key in this game too. I would look for him to catch a lot of balls. I think if they stick to the short passing game and the running game, and pound with the defense, I think they'll be okay. I mean, that's the key. That's going to be the key to winning this game for the Eagles. But they can't afford to get into a run and gun with this team. This team has too many weapons, and the more the Falcons, the more possessions they get, the tougher it's going to be for the Eagles to win this game.
Say something. Give me something on the comment board. Make me feel better about this game.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not seeing anything from anybody trying to sway us about.
Well, I deal with all these people calling me a hater all week that I don't believe in the team,
and I'm so biased.
I'm trying to give you free Sports Hound paraphernalia. If you can say something that makes me feel even a little better, the comment of the night.
Tell me
we'll
what
give you
is
2
going to
shirts.
happen. Tell
I'll
me
give you
what's gonna
3
happen.
shirts. I have so many of them in my closet. Give me something that I can sink my teeth into, that I can go to bed tonight say, wow, so-and-so made a great point. Maybe the Eagles do have a chance in this game.
Well, Rob, I got one thing to ask you. The last 2 games, what has Foles done to convince you that he can that he's gonna do
Nothing.
anything?
That's why I'm
He
begging
looked
people to make me
terrible.
feel better about this game.
And to be honest with you, the Giant game, everybody wants to give you the 4 touchdown passes, but on two of those drives, the Giants gave you the ball at the 20-yard line.
But the Giants stink. They have
Exactly.
no heart.
They have no defense either. So, but they only had 2 real drives, the Eagles. I mean, it's not like they were a prolific offensive machine against the Giants. And the Raiders, they scored 13 points. They got shut out by Dallas.
Who cares about the Dallas game?
I know, but Foles still didn't move the team though. And
Well, he was moving the team, then that idiot Torrey Smith dropped the ball and ruined all the momentum. Forget about Week 17. Forget about the Dallas game.
That. They still didn't. Their offense still didn't look good against the Raiders either, and that was a
Did
game
not.
that-
It was very cold.
It was. It's going to be a lot warmer on Saturday, and that should help everybody.
And we got something coming out of the national championship game right now. Jake Fromm just threw an interception.
See, that's trouble.
Oh boy.
Yep.
That's trouble.
Oh, boy.
Pick
That's-
6?
Not a pick 6.
See, the freshman in a big game like that.
That's not good. Dion Brown, Fletcher Cox, Brandon Graham, Darby McLeod, and Jake need to play lights out. For me, on offense, Selleck, Burton, and Ertz will be key. Atlanta struggled all year covering tight ends.
They did.
Selleck and Burton, I mean,
I know Trey Burton's going to make that occasional crazy play that's going to either he's going to play a role of a fullback or
Get
he's going to
real.
make that
We're relying on-
unexpected.
Trey
Ertz
Burton
is-
stinks.
Ertz is tremendous.
Come on.
Ertz is tremendous.
I like
he's
him
an
and everything.
outstanding
He
player.
tries his best and
He's
everything.
not
but
he's not terrible, but he comes in handy for like certain. He's one of those players that only works in certain sets though, like the typical 3 tight end set.
I think Dion Brown here,
he's
he's trying to get a shirt, but none of these comments, Dion, are easing my mind at all. I already know all that stuff. I already know they need to get the Matt Ryan. I know that Atlanta's offensive line is a weak point. That should be something that the Eagles should be able to exploit.
It's nowhere near as good as the Eagles' offensive line. The Eagles right now have the best offensive line in the sport.
You can't compare offensive lines. They don't play against each other.
No, I understand that, but I think the Eagles' offensive line has an advantage against Atlanta's defensive line, whereas Atlanta's offensive line will not have the same advantage over the Eagles' defensive line. What worries me about the Eagles' defense is I'm not crazy about their corners. Really
yeah,
not.
and they have to play the best wide receiver duo in the NFL for my
And
money.
that's gonna
Am I
be-
missing anybody, guys? Am I missing anyone?
No, I think that's
Julio Jones and Sanu?
Tyler Gabriel.
Taylor Gabriel.
Him too.
He's pretty good.
I meant, am I missing a
Sanu.
duo that's better than them?
Sanu.
No, right?
I-
Especially not playing still.
No,
Right.
No, not playing still. No.
But
No, I mean that combination is tremendous, and I mean,
Yeah.
geez.
It's a good 1-2 punch,
yeah,
especially with receivers.
Dion Brown, Eagles 24-17. I think it's going to be that type of game. I just
It's
think
going to
the
be a
Eagles,
close game,
I
hands
think
down.
the Eagles I think they're going to be on the wrong end of this one.
I'll tell you who else has a heck of a set of receivers: the New Orleans Saints. And Michael Thomas,
and
boy, is he good.
Oh yeah,
Man,
They're
Michael
going. They're going.
Thomas, Alvin Kamara.
I'll tell you what. The number 2 seed in the NFC, they're going home too.
I agree with you. I don't think Minnesota's beating New Orleans.
No way.
I
no
think it'll
shot.
Be, it's gonna be a slugfest, and I'm gonna enjoy it because if with if being the most emphasized word in my statement, if we win against Atlanta, we're all going to take a beat up Saints or Vikings team, whoever emerges out of this. So we can go into this championship game against a beat up squad.
If the Eagles prove me wrong, if Nick Foles proves me wrong, and you got the Minnesota Vikings coming into the link,
you're going to win
in the NFC Championship game. Tom Arnone is correct, and the Eagles will be going to the Super Bowl. 100%.
I agree. I agree with that.
100%.
Because Case Keenum is not going to come in
here. He's not going to be
He's not
the
coming
guy.
in here winning. No.
No way.
No, but I don't think he's going to beat New Orleans. And remember, Minnesota has some definite ghosts of their own with some of the games that they've blown at home in the playoffs.
Minnesota? Remember they had Randall?
Well, you remember when they lost? I seem to remember 1999. I think it was when they.
They had Randall Cunningham
against Atlanta.
Right. Yeah, they had Randall Cunningham and Randy Moss
against New Orleans too in 2009 with Favre.
Randy, that's right, with Favre. That team was loaded.
Yeah, I mean, the 2 games.
They might have lost with the best team more than the Eagles have.
I mean, if you look at Minnesota now, if Atlanta wins, and I'm not saying they're going to win, but if Atlanta wins and Minnesota has to play both these teams, and they do happen to get to the Super Bowl, they're going to have to slay 2 dragons. And boy, that's those are 2 nightmares that if you're a modern Minnesota fan, those are 2 games that just have to eat you, especially the one in '99 with Randall. Oh my God,
Randy Moss was a rookie. He was a stud.
Yeah, Gary Anderson was perfect all year, and then that missed field goal.
Michael Kromiak,
I think huge lead too.
I think Ajayi will get more touches this week. He's continuing to get better and better each week with more reps. I think if we see 35 touches rushing the ball, 15 to 20 for Ajayi, split the rest between Blunt, Clement, they'll be in good shape. I agree. I think Ajayi needs to be the bell cow. He's the best.
Yeah,
you got to give Ajayi a lot of touches.
You have to run.
He's a better version of Blunt.
You have to run the football. Don't make Nick Foles have to carry the load.
All right.
Okay. If Nick Foles will make a couple of good throws for you, but the more you put on Nick Foles, the more Nick Foles you're going to see, and that's not something you want to see too much of. If it becomes a one-dimensional game and he has to throw on every down, you're going to be in big trouble. But that can't. It's not,
someone out
Wentz.
there. Throw me a trend. Throw me a tidbit. Throw me a hot take that I can sink my teeth into. I'm gonna be in Vegas, be a Planet Hollywood for the games. I want to go to that window. Boom, $1.50. Eagles money line.
Give me. How about Eagles?
Lock?
Give me the Eagles in the 3.5.
Yeah, but I mean,
it goes up.
I'm trying to get my
want the
beak
money
wet a
line.
little bit here.
Yeah, no, you wanna get the
if
money
it's
line.
2.5.
Yeah, no, 2.5 is not good.
But if it's 2.5, you take the money line. Who
Yeah.
cares? I mean,
yeah, if it's 3.5.
okay. If they lose by then I lose.
Right.
And I'll just double the bet for the Patriots -13 against the Titans.
Well, we got one comment.
That's the easiest win you're going to have.
Well, we got one comment in the YouTube chat from Joseph Lewis. He thinks that the weather will be a factor going into this game.
Yeah, it's going to be in the 50s.
It's going to be I've heard 50s. I've heard like 40s, possibly high 30s, with the chance of rain going into this game, which could help us if we want to run the ball a lot.
But if it's warm for us, it's going to be warm for them too.
Right.
And they have a better quarterback.
Yeah, I mean the whole.
So
I think if it's warm, that takes away the advantage.
Doesn't that favor Atlanta?
Yeah,
or am I crazy?
I mean, Atlanta has just as good running backs as the Eagles do. The Eagles have a better offensive line, though.
Atlanta has better running backs than the Philadelphia Eagles.
They do, absolutely. They do. That's the problem. And Atlanta also has better at the skilled positions. Atlanta has a big edge. Okay, in the meat market department, in the 2 lines, I give the Eagles the edge on both sides of the ball.
Agree.
So that's that. But what's going to have to happen is they're going to have the Eagles' defensive line.
Maybe you're
going
to win the shirts, Brad.
I don't know. I mean, and I keep trying to say that I don't think the Eagles are going to win, but I'm giving you reasons why they can. I don't hear any of you guys out there coming up with a reason why.
No. Where are all these Eagles fans all week? Oh, we're fine. We're fine with Foles. We're fine.
We're going to kill him.
Still, ride or die.
Yeah,
Ride or die with Foles. Where are all these people?
Man.
Yeah.
Wow.
What happened?
All right, so national championship game update right now. Alabama trying to go for a field goal, 40-yard field goal, wide left to start the game.
Was Graham Gano kicking for them?
So we're we're still zeros.
We're still zeros. I believe there is about 8 minutes left in the first quarter.
So guys, Graham Gano missing that the chip shot in the first quarter.
I gotta tell you guys, I'm very disappointed with the comments here.
goes
I thought I was gonna throw this out. All these Eagle fans, the Folesian society was gonna jump down my throat and give me all these reasons, this, that, and the other, that the Eagles were gonna win. No one's saying anything. No one's making me feel better about this game at all. Now I'm feeling worse. Now I'm not gonna be able to sleep tonight. I'm gonna be tired for work.
It's
I'll
amazing.
be dragging ass in Vegas. I'll be jet lagged.
Everybody all week has been.
Give me something.
Let's see. No, I'm biased. I switched my allegiance of the New Orleans is going to beat the Eagles to Atlanta is going to beat the Eagles. Well, I'm telling you what the Eagles have to do to win the game, and I'm telling you that they can in fact do these things. But I can't get the T-shirt, guys. You have to get the T-shirt. So I already have the T-shirt. I know.
I feel worse.
I know what the Eagles
now
have to do.
than when this show started. I was starting to feel kind of good. I thought, hey, yeah, everyone's going to talk me off the ledge. No. Now it's going to be 50 degrees, Matt Ryan's, maybe going to be raining. I don't want Nick Foles out there in the rain tossing the ball around.
I don't think the rain
sounds like a disaster.
I don't think the rain is going to hurt the Falcons. I mean, you're going to try to cover Julio Jones in the rain? Good luck with that.
And especially with young corners against Julio Jones.
Yeah, good luck with that.
They're going to be biting hook, line, and sinker on the sluggo routes.
And Sanu, and then you're going to be having to deal with screen passes to Devontae Freeman all day. I mean, that's not going to be easy. You're going to have your hands full if the weather's bad. If it's as long as it's warm, and everybody can feel their bones, those guys will be running around. They're not going to care. And as far as playing on the road, look. One thing about Atlanta, they are a seasoned veteran football team that has been in the playoffs before. All these guys have playoff experience. Now, what is the playoff experience with the Eagles? I think maybe one game.
For some of those players, one game.
Foles started in 2013.
That was the game they lost
started.
to the Saints, right?
Selleck and Ertz were on that team.
Selleck and Ertz.
Okay.
Johnson.
Like Alshon Jeffrey's never been. Torrey Smith played in the Super Bowl, I believe.
Jason Peters
so there
had
are
some
guys. There are some guys.
Peters isn't playing. Kelsey was on the 2013 team.
Okay.
Lane Johnson was a rookie on the 2013 team.
At least they've been
Malcolm
there.
Jenkins has won a Super Bowl with the Saints.
Blunt's won a Super Bowl with the Pats.
Blunt's won a Super Bowl.
So there are some guys in that locker room who can be the voice of reason and get through, and that's going to be important because. Atlanta, all these guys have been there. And you know what? If they're really the men that they think they are, they're going to have a big chip on their shoulder from losing last year.
The only chance the Eagle has is to run the ball consistently. Does those two things, keeps the ball away from Matt Ryan and keeps the ball away from Nick Foles. That's a good point because I like that. I like the ball not in Nick Foles' hands too much when we're on offense.
I agree, and what's going to be effective is for the Eagles is if they can get the running game going, then you can do the read option and then pass. But you don't want Foles throwing on the run because he's just not good on the run throwing the ball. We saw how inaccurate he was doing that against Oakland, and for the most part, he was not that accurate against Dallas when he's on the run. I mean, he's best sitting in the pocket. He's more of a pocket passer. He doesn't have a big arm, but he's pretty accurate when he's sitting in the pocket. But still, you can do play action passes, but it's all going to be predicated on the running game. If the Eagles can run the ball, they win the game. It's that simple. Because then you're limiting if each team gets, say, four possessions each half, okay, then Eagles can win the game. If this becomes a 6 to 7 possession game for each team, each half, that's a problem.
That's Brian Adder, by the way. That's the leader in the clubhouse for the Sports Hounds T-shirts. That made me feel better. That was a good, insightful comment right there. That eased my tensions a little bit.
What did he say?
He's the one I just read. Now it just went away.
I'm looking at YouTube right now, and Joseph Lewis.
The one I just read about keeping the ball out of Foles and Matt Ryan's hands.
Right.
I like that. That's the leader in the club. Brian Adder. Look, he's in his Facebook pic. He's a Rangers fan, Brad.
Good for you.
He's a Rangers fan.
We'll get into the Rangers later.
No, we won't.
Rangers are going nowhere, by the way.
No, we won't.
They're not going anywhere, guys. Not
We're good
without
on
Chris Kreider. But anyway,
can I take how about Philadelphia's old buddy, Andy Reid, yesterday? Not yesterday. When was it? Saturday.
Saturday, Andy Reid.
A 9-point home favorite to a team I think absolutely stinks in the Tennessee Titans.
We've had
He
this
blows a
discussion before about
21-3 lead, loses the game outright. He's got the rushing champion with an injured Jason Kelce. He runs the ball 11 times.
You know, it's very Norv-like. I know everybody's comparing him to Schottenheimer, but
I watched
I
that
think it's
game
more-
on Saturday
it's-
so many times as an Eagles fan. I
it's
feel
more
bad for
Norv.
those people out there stuck with Andy Reid.
Rob, do you think it's more Norv or Schottenheimer? Because I kind of look at it more like he's more Norv.
He's like in his own class of stupidity.
He really is. I mean, and when I was talking about the Eagles going full Andy Reid, this is what I'm talking about. You have the rushing you have the rushing champion on your team, and he gets 11 carries after Travis Kelce gets hurt, and that just why would you not just give him the ball? You know, I mean, it doesn't make sense. And Andy just, you know, I mean, he's a good regular season coach, but you know what? To win playoff games, you have to be able to make halftime
But, I mean,
adjustments.
holy God. I mean, I get it.
Just
I
doesn't do it.
get it. I mean, he lost with the best team 3 times in Philadelphia.
Yeah, he did.
3 times. They had no doubt about it, the best team. They had the best team in 2001. They lost to Tampa at home as favorites. They had the best team in 2008. They lost to the Cardinals. On the road, they were favored.
Yes, they were.
And they had by far the best team in 2004, the Owens team.
That was the year they lost to the Patriots.
I
But
cannot
I don't know
believe-
that they were. I don't know that they were better than the Patriots, though.
Yes, they were.
I
That
don't-
team was
that I don't
loaded.
know.
Line up those rosters, position for position, player for player. The Eagles blow that team out of the water.
Yeah, but
talent-wise.
Donovan McNabb never had the it factor. That was the
Yeah,
problem.
he yacked
And-
on the field.
Yeah,
I don't know who has less it factor, Donovan McNabb or Andy Reid. You put them together, and you had 15
Yeah.
years of just rip your heart out misery. And then the Bears are so dumb, they can't, after the epic collapse, they can't wait to hire Matt Nagy, the Kansas City Chiefs offensive coordinator.
Well, they want another Andy
This
Reid.
guy gets a job, a head coaching job out of it.
You know what it is? They must think.
What
that-
does everybody see in Andy Reid on the Nationals that
Well, because he has
I
a
just
good,
don't
because he has
get.
a good record. He has a good 1-loss record in the regular season, and look, I mean, he's not a bad coach. He's
Yes,
not a
he
bad
is.
coach. He also
Yes, he is, and I've defended Andy Reid
pretty
and Donovan McNabb till I'm blue in the
he's
face.
pretty good. He's
on
pretty good,
numerous occasions.
but he's also pretty good at quarterbacks. You know, at bringing quarterbacks along.
Yeah, then he hangs them out to dry in the big spots
Well, yeah,
he
because-
puts everything on them.
Yeah, because he doesn't. His X's and O's are not good. But I mean, I guess the Bears feel that that Nagy was a better fit for Trubisky. I mean, I know that Kansas City really wanted Trubisky when they were at the draft last year, maybe that's part of it, because I know that he had thought very highly of him. So perhaps when in the interview process, they mentioned that, and maybe the Bears just thought, okay, if you think so that Trubisky's so great, come over here and make him great. I mean, maybe that's it. I didn't think Trubisky was all that
You
great.
can't
this
chill
year,
out and see what's going on real quick. You got to just at that guy.
I would have waited. I mean, to me, there's better candidates.
Everyone
out
said
there.
the same thing about Doug last year, and I think that's worked out pretty fine, pretty good.
Well,
Doug
maybe-
was a quarterback though, in the league.
But maybe the I understand that, but maybe the Andy Reid tree is better than Andy Reid, because certainly the Bill Belichick tree so far has not been very good
It's correct.
as far as the coaching tree goes. Charlie Weiss was certainly not was an abject failure in his go around. Do you think Patricia and McDaniels are going to be good coaches?
I don't know about this McDaniel guy. How good a coach is he without Brady?
Well, I mean, he
I like Patricia
Listen,
with the
he did
beard
get-
and the pencil.
Yeah,
in
I
his-
like him too.
I would hire him before I hire McDaniels.
But I will say this about McDaniels. I mean, he did get Denver to the playoffs with Tim Tebow as the quarterback. So there is something to be said about that.
Well, he went with God.
Yeah, I know. But I mean, even with God, Tebow still wasn't good.
He was good enough.
Well, because Pittsburgh screwed up that one
Yeah,
play,
good.
and they let him get an
What a shame
70-yard.
the Steelers lost. What a shame.
That was like wasn't that like a 70-yard touchdown pass?
Yeah, that was
They screwed that play.
That was a 70-something yard to
Brian Adder killing it on the comments. Maybe KC would have been in a better position
Thomas.
to win if they had not used their number one pick on a quarterback that played 0 snaps on Saturday. Another valid point. He's definitely – Brian, reach out to me on Facebook. Friend request me. We're going to get you some shirts. Great comments tonight.
Yes, I agree. I mean,
You're just saying that because you're a Rangers fan.
No. I would agree with him. I'm looking at it with the Giant perspective, with them drafting Rosen or Darnold or Allen. One of those guys. If they do something like that, if they don't trade Eli to the Jaguars, then I don't know that they're going to want to draft a quarterback. But I mean,
Why would the Giants not pick Saquon Barkley?
because they have no offensive line.
You can find an offensive line in the later rounds. Saquon Barkley is a monster.
Yeah, no, I agree with you, but we still don't have an offensive line. We have to improve that offensive line. If we're going to get a running back like that, you got to get some linemen. Now, I know we could sign some offensive linemen, but we still have to get some linemen. I mean, the offensive line was embarrassing last year.
All right, yeah.
Anyway,
we'll see what you got. We'll focus on the teams that are actually playing this weekend.
Now,
Ryan
I wanna go to
Broda, hey guys, what team in the NFC do you think is set up to be the next dynasty for years to come? It's the EAGLES, because Carson Wentz is going to be fine next year. Any season where Carson Wentz is not on injured reserve, the Eagles are the prohibitive favorites in the NFC.
He is the
He's
best
that
young-
good.
he is the
He's the
best young
greatest thing
quarterback.
since sliced bread. He's all that in a bag of chips. Whatever euphemism you want to use to describe Carson Wentz and how good he is.
Best
He's a
young
blue
quarterback in football.
He's a blue chipper. He's a gamer. He can do it all. He can cover up deficiencies on offense and defense. He's a combination of Aaron Rodgers, Brett Favre, and Ben Roethlisberger. He is so good.
He's really good.
So good.
He is really good. I mean, I agree with you about Carson Wentz. And I think as long as he's around, the Eagles are always going to have a fighting chance. Every year, they're going to be it's going to be like Aaron Rodgers. I mean, look at Aaron Rodgers, how he covers up Green Bay's weaknesses. Because when he wasn't there this year, they look like a horrible team. And you know what? I will say this about the Eagles: with or without Carson Wentz, they're not the Packers. They're not going to be bad like the Packers. Or the Packers were just god awful this year without Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, the Eagles were very fortunate to have a guy like Nick Foles on the bench when Carson Wentz did get hurt.
Yeah, I mean he's
very fortunate.
He's serviceable. He's serviceable. He won't kill you like some of these other guys. I mean, some of these other quarterbacks. Blake Bortles. Oh my God. Tyrod Taylor. Oh my God. What an embarrassment to the NFL to have those two guys facing off against each other in a playoff game. That was one of the most boring snooze fest football games I've ever heard. I mean, I don't know what Tony Romo was watching, but boy, oh boy! I mean, that game was tough to
Tony
watch.
Romo blows.
Yeah, I can't.
He blows at
he's-
announcing. He blew at quarterback.
And they took
He's a
Phil
dirty
Simms off the air
stick.
for him. He's just
I have no time for Tony Romo.
Okay, Alexander Verrucci says Jai has 3 games with 200 yards. Well, we know that, and already ran for 150 yards this season when he played to the Dolphins. He needs a big game, and our secondary can be opportunistic. I agree 100% with that. That's probably the most intelligent comment
They have to
I've
run the
gotten.
ball. The Eagles have to run the ball.
Yeah,
We've established that. They had to run the ball 25, 30, 35 times.
Yeah,
Nick Foles got to throw it like 20 times.
And another reason they have to run the ball a lot is to wear down that Atlanta defense. Because if you wear them down in the fourth quarter, you'll be able to score against them almost every time. And that, again, that's what makes a running game so great. Now I know the NFL has kind of gotten away from the running game somewhat in recent years with the quarterback, with the vertical passing games, but I got to tell you, running the football is still, if you can run the football in the NFL, you can still win if you've got a good defense.
Bob from Bucks, OG of the show. Eagles got to keep them out of the end zone. 3 field goals, and we scored 10 on the ground. I mean, Bob, if the Falcons are going to the red zone 3 times, there's absolutely no way they don't get at least 2 touchdowns.
Oh, that's 17 points.
That might be enough.
Could be enough. I think it's going to be a race to 20 in this game.
Race to 20. If you're posting the Falcons team total at 20, I'm taking the over.
I think if the Falcons get 20, they win the game.
Okay, I agree with that.
I think
Maybe.
I think that's the key. If the Falcons can get to 20, I think they win the game because I just don't think the Eagles can get to 20. I think that the Falcons are going to load up the box. They're going to put 8 guys in there, and they're going to dare Nick Foles to beat them. And we'll see if Nick Foles can do it.
Falcons gave up 5 yards a carry on the ground, and we held them to 15 points last year.
That was last year.
Forget about last year, Bob. Forget about it.
That was last
2018.
Yeah.
Last year means absolutely nothing.
It doesn't. It doesn't. And at this point, this is the playoffs. Playoffs are a whole new ball game, and we'll see how everybody comes out and how they play. I mean, that's going to be.
The Eagles have Nick Foles, and the Falcons have Matt Ryan. I can't get past that. I can't pick Nick Foles to beat Matt Ryan. I can't do it. Somebody besides Brian, help me.
Well, okay.
Come to grips.
We got Anthony.
Say something.
Anthony Verrucci here says BG, Curry, Cox will show up, play big on the big stage, look for prime time against Panthers. Cox pushed the lineman into Cam, disrupted the throw, and our rookie gets an interception.
That's true. I haven't seen anything from Fletcher Cox, to be honest with you, since he got accused of cheating on that man's wife.
Oh, God.
Committing adultery.
That has nothing to do with anything.
It doesn't? How come his play fell off after that story came out?
I don't know. You know what? Their play seemed to have fallen
How
off
come
since
Timmy Jernigan hasn't done nothing since he signed that big contract?
that's
He's been all banged up
that's-
and not bringing
but that's different. I think that again, since Carson Wentz has been hurt, the Eagles have not been really the same team. Let's be honest, on both sides of the ball. They haven't really been. I mean, they were
Just saying, it's a lot harder to play defense against Matt Ryan and Eli Manning than against Mitchell Trubisky and Brock Osweiler.
Oh, most definitely, without a doubt. I mean, again, you're still going to be looking at as we've said before, and say it till we're blue in the face. Run the football.
See, I was not confident when the show started. Then I was starting to get confident, and now my confidence level is at an all-time low.
Well, I mean, look, the game still has to be played in the field. We can sit here and talk till we're blue in the face. Go on the field, and if that's
Man,
what
I thought we were going to get peppered with Nick Foles and Eagles love. Where are all these people?
they're trying to make now. Joseph Lewis says it's not Nick versus Matt; it's the Eagles versus the Falcons. You know, as much as I'd like to,
It's not a bad point.
to kill you on that. I mean, he is right, and the whole thing here is, again, the Eagles do have a better as far as the offensive line and the defensive line, I give them an edge. But Matt Ryan is a better quarterback than Nick Foles, and the quarterback is
not even close.
The quarterback is the most important position on the field. I think we can certainly say that with confidence that there's no question about that. Yeah, obviously a quarterback has to have a good surrounding cast, but I mean, if let's put it this way, if Matt Ryan was on the Eagles and Nick Foles was on the Falcons, would the Falcons have any shot in this game?
No.
Okay. Well, I think that's kind of the point that needs to be made here.
It's a good point. Makes me feel worse.
Sorry, but I'm just trying to answer Joseph Lewis here, and let him know that he's not totally wrong about his comment. He has a point, but my point is that the quarterbacks in the playoff games, if you have two teams that are pretty even, which I think they are, Carson Wentz would make the Eagles an overwhelming favorite, and they would probably beat the living daylights out of Atlanta. But that's a big loss. I mean, that's a huge loss. I mean, it's not the same thing. There's a big difference.
People undersell the Raiders' offense. They have a good, talented core, skill positions.
The Raiders stink
their
this year.
Wide receiver core, running back core hitting their stride. Played New England very tough. It's underselling how good the defense played in that game. That's good offense. That's fantastic. I couldn't agree more. The defense really brought it that game, and they iced home field
the
advantage.
Eagles, yes. The Eagles' defense played well against the Raiders.
Atlanta,
Derek Carr was not good this year, though. Let's be honest.
The Atlanta offense is way better than the Raiders' offense.
Yeah,
it's the playoffs. This is the play. It's a different ball game.
Yeah, there's no comparison. And the Atlanta offense has been there against the best, and they have beaten some of the best. They've won a lot of playoff games over the last couple of years. Okay, be careful. These guys know how to win, and they looked against the Rams. They just look like a seasoned team. They look like a confident team. The Rams look like deers in headlights.
A couple people. I mean, James here is just that the Atlanta is inconsistent. I mean, how fucking inconsistent can they be if they're in the divisional round of the playoffs?
Well,
clearly they got it going on right now.
During the season, during the season they weren't as good as they were last year.
They completely punked out the number one offense last week on the road.
Yeah, they were good last week. They were real good.
They might have had a little lull in the middle there. Don't forget they started 3-0. Had a little lull in the center. Excuse me. And now they're cooking again.
They were able to control Todd Gurley. I mean, they were. And right now, Goff is ahead of Nick Foles as far as who's a better quarterback.
Not even close.
Not
even close.
That's
Jared Goff. I mean, they didn't play that good as an offense as a whole, but Jared Goff he threw some dimes out there.
Goff is good, and he's going to be a lot better. Is he Wentz? No, but you know what? The Los Angeles Rams have a good young quarterback, and you know what? The Rams and the Eagles are going to be having their day in the not too distant future at some point as well. I think that's a matchup that's you're going to see in the conference championship one day. If not next year, maybe the year after. But those two teams are going to be facing each other in some playoff games without a doubt. But looking at some of the remaining matchups and what's going on next week, and moving ahead to that.
Let's go to Saturday night. We talked about Saturday afternoon. We'll go Saturday night.
Okay. Saturday night, I believe, is
That's the Patriots and the Titans.
Do we really need to even discuss this?
This is 55-10 Patriots.
Yeah, that's about right.
55-10.
Or 50.
That's not hyperbole.
That's
not an exaggeration.
It's going to be a blowout.
I'm going to say 52-17. I'm going to give them 17.
You're going to give them 17, a little garbage time late.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Exactly. Because
double
Belichick
nickels.
will be taking
double nickels
Yeah,
for the Patriots on Saturday night.
I'm thinking 52. You want to say 55? I mean, that's
Whatever.
we're both over 50 points in that. That game is over after that game will be close for like the middle of the first quarter, and then by halftime it'll start getting away, and then in the third quarter it's you can turn off your TV and do what you need to do on Saturday night.
I mean,
Yeah.
I mean,
That's
they're
not
gonna
gonna be-
they're just gonna be laughing in place. Just all this fake news coming out of New York because they want Belichick to come down about there's
I don't know if
dissension.
it's coming out of New
It's
York.
definitely
I think
coming
more-
out of New
It's
York.
It's
it sounds like
it's
a New York thing.
coming
it's-
out of New York.
It's more ESPN trying to create
Yeah,
attention
ESPN,
to themselves.
ESPN New York.
I don't know. I mean, again, when I made the comment on Facebook about if you notice what I put seriously with a
Fake
question
news.
mark.
It's the
and
New
I
York
never-
Post, which is trash. It's the New York Times, which is trash.
Yeah,
they don't tell the truth.
No, they just say things to try to get attention. They're just trying
Yeah,
to sell.
It's all about page
that's,
clicks.
that's what they do. It's like here's some more
sure.
subscriptions
And
and
Belichick
more
and Brady aren't going to stop. Oh, we're done? Oh, our
No.
dynasty's over? Okay.
No. That,
Oh, yeah,
I would
35 is not enough. Then 42 is not going to be enough. Then 49 is not going to be enough. They're dropping half 100 on the Titans.
agree. Oh yeah, I agree with you.
Easily.
The game I can't wait to see is the Saints and the Vikings. That's going to be one heck of a game. I think the Vikings are going to get pressure on Drew Brees, but I just don't know that they're going to be able to score enough. The Saints have a good defense, and for anybody who doesn't think they have a good defense, take a look at Cameron Jordan and some of the plays he made on Newton yesterday, especially on that last
Oh
drive.
yeah.
And when he knocked him out of the game, I mean, are you telling me Newton really didn't have a concussion when he's running off the field and then he falls down?
Got poked in the eye.
Yeah, he
That
got
did
poked
not-
in the eye.
That poke
Yeah.
did not look good.
Yeah,
I mean, thank goodness for the visor, but if he had no visor, he would probably been blind.
but yeah, he went down because of a poke in the eye or because he had a concussion.
I think it was the concussion, but yet they were also going to check for the poke in the eye as well.
Yeah,
Deion Brown. I love this show. I do, but I sense no positive vibes at all. You are acting like Mike McMahon at quarterback. I hear everything about Foles. What about two coaches, Dougie P and Jim Schwartz? No one has mentioned. No one has
The
mentioned.
cliffhanger. There we
yeah,
go.
it was. I had to click on the thing, and now I lost my spot. I'm trying to do it really quick because we got to take a break soon. All the coaches, mismatches, and use those to our advantage. The Falcons have good.
Yeah, it's
First off, Dion, if you're looking, it's a national sports show. This is not a Philadelphia-based show. We talk about all the sports. We cater to our markets. I'm not going to tell you the Eagles are going to play like chicken salad when I think they're going to play like chicken shit. That's not how I do things. If I thought the Eagles were going to surprise everyone and play really good, I'd be singing from the rooftops. I don't see it. I've had one comment that's made me feel better about this game from Brian. Convince me. Dan Quinn's a good coach too. Their defensive staff's good too. It's divisional round of the playoffs, and I can't get past Matt Ryan's the quarterback of the Falcons, and Nick Foles is the quarterback of the Eagles.
yeah,
I can't get past that.
That's an issue. I want to go back to Minnesota
Go ahead.
and New Orleans. Okay. I just can't see Case Keenum beating Drew Brees. I just can't see it.
That's the same
It's the
principle
same-
applies.
Yeah, and by the way, okay, am I being biased against Philadelphia when I'm saying the same thing about New Orleans and Minnesota?
You're not
Because
being
it's
biased.
Basically
One person-
the same thing.
One
Unless
jackass called you biased on Facebook, who's a jackass and doesn't know what he's talking about.
Minnesota is going to need to run the ball and keep Drew Brees off the field. Okay?
The top two
And
seeds
they
in the NFC,
cannot
they're gone.
They cannot allow Case Keenum to have to win the game for him. Because if that happens, they are going to lose in the same way that I think the Eagles are going to lose. I just don't think I think Case Keenum has come a long way from last year. A long way. I mean, he is now a serviceable, decent quarterback, okay? But he's not Drew Brees. He's Drew Brees, and then you take a look at
He's
you take a look-
unbelievable.
Yeah, Drew Brees, and And take a look at those receivers. Now you understand why they were able to trade that one guy to New England.
Yeah, Cooks.
I mean, now you can
Didn't skip a
understand why
beat.
now you can understand why because everybody was like, oh, they traded Brandon Cooks. Well, Michael Thomas is tremendous. I mean, he was killing Carolina all day yesterday, and they were trying everything to stop him. And they just couldn't. Every time Drew Brees needed to complete a pass, it seemed like that was the guy he was going to. And Carolina did not have an answer. The only time they had an answer is when they were able to get a big rush on Drew Brees, and Drew Brees just didn't have the time to get the ball to him.
Nancy checks in. Eagles have a better chance than the Vikings.
I agree.
I do too.
I agree with that.
I do too.
That is absolutely true, because you know what, I think Nick Foles is better than Case Keenum.
Scotty Giggs, if Foles throws 2 TDs and the defense scores as well, that puts you at 21.
That gives you the win.
You're going to have to get a touchdown like that. You have to get a block kick, a return TD, a pick six, something like that to win this game.
He hit the nail right on the head. That's what you need to get. You're going to need to get a turnover where you get the ball on like the 20-yard line or the 15-yard line, somewhere in the red zone, where Nick needs to make one play to get the ball in the end zone. That he can definitely do. I just don't see Nick going 75 yards consistently against Atlanta. I don't see that. The same way I don't see Case Keenum, unless he makes a big play, I don't see him being able to get a lot of drives against New Orleans. New Orleans' defense has really, really improved. I mean, is there a better defensive lineman right now than Cam right now?
Cameron Jordan.
Cam Jordan he's unbelievable. I mean, yesterday he owned the line of scrimmage yesterday. He was all over the place. And boy, he introduced himself to Cam Newton all night. I mean, what a performance. And really, that whole Saints team. And I know that Graham Gano missed a field goal, which could have cost him the game. But don't forget, Graham Gano also made a 58-yard field goal, too. So
Graham Gano is a good kicker. I don't know what he was doing on that chippy.
He messed it up. But you know what, though? As far as I'm concerned, as a fan, you make a 58-yard field goal, I'm going to forgive you for missing a 30-yard field goal. Yeah, it's that simple, because you're not supposed to make a. Yeah, but you're not supposed to.
Depends a lot.
Yeah, but you're not supposed to make a 58-yard field goal. That's a long kick.
In a dome when you're Graham Gano.
Yeah, but that's still a long kick, though.
I mean, I'm not going to justify it. They've won. All they have to do is kick the damn ball through the big yellow H.
I agree.
That's all they have to do.
That's still a hell of a kick, though, from 58 yards.
They have one job, and they make hundreds of thousands of dollars, sometimes millions of dollars to do it.
Didn't Lutz kick the 57-yarder, did he not? Was that 57, or was it shorter than that? I think it was a 57-yarder.
The Graham Gano kick?
No, the Lutz kick.
The Lutz, yeah,
the
50,
Lutz kick
57.
Was 57.
It was 57.
Gano was 58. I mean, I'll tell you what, these kickers in the NFL, some of these kickers are tremendous.
All right, what about the fourth game here? The Pittsburgh Steelers hosting the Jacksonville Jaguars.
I think that's going to be a low-scoring game, but I see Pittsburgh 19, Jacksonville 3.
Yeah, 10 points isn't going to get it done against the Steelers.
No, I'm not saying that the Steelers are going to score a lot of points against Jacksonville. That's not going to happen.
The Jaguars are very.
They got a great defense, but you know what? Pittsburgh just has.
They're going to score more than 3.
Pittsburgh has a lot of weapons. They've got tremendous receivers. Antonio Brown practiced today.
Yeah, he's good to go. They say he's 100%.
He's good to go, and if he's good to go, and you got Le'Veon Bell, who is probably talent-wise is probably the best running back in the NFL.
Him, Gurley. I mean,
you
there's
can make
a couple
the argument
out there.
Yeah, you can make the argument, but
he's the best one left.
Yeah, I mean, is there anybody you would rather have that's still in the playoffs than him? Maybe Kamara. I don't know.
He's a rookie. I'll take Bell all day.
Yeah, I take Bell too. I mean, Bell is really good. But you got Bell. Yeah, I mean, we got Schuster. I mean, you guys know who's on Pittsburgh. And
they're going to win.
Yeah, they will.
Favorites are going to win the AFC, and the top 2 seeds in the NFC are
they're going home.
They're going home.
And it's and poor Minnesota is going to have they're going to have New Orleans, lose again, and this time it's going to be at home. They've had 2 nightmares against those 2 teams, boy. Phew.
That'd be a great championship weekend if it pans out like that.
It would. I mean, listen.
The Eagles,
the
Cowboys
Eagles
of the
could,
NFC South and
I mean, the Eagles.
Pittsburgh and New England.
Listen, if the Eagles, I will say this about the Eagles: if the Eagles play Minnesota,
they're
in
going
the
to the Super
championship
Bowl.
game,
They're going to the Super Bowl.
I like the Eagles in that matchup. I do, and that's the one matchup I think that the Eagles should be able to handle well. They're built to beat Minnesota. Minnesota does not have an edge on them as far as the skill positions go. The Eagles have them in every position, even at quarterback. Bad matchup for them. That's why I don't like Minnesota to beat New Orleans. I just New Orleans. The only way New Orleans loses to Minnesota is if they start turning the ball over. If the turnovers are even, New Orleans wins the game. And the same thing goes for the Falcons and the Eagles. If the turnovers are even, I don't see the Falcons losing the game. The Eagles have got to turn them over.
And, Dean, I'm not giving the Eagles no shot.
It's not no
24, shot. I mean, I don't think they're going to win. I'm sorry. I don't think they're going to win.
No shot is the Titans against the Patriots. Okay?
That's no shot.
That's no shot. You can't say no shot. Just like saying Minnesota has no shot to beat New Orleans. Minnesota has a shot to beat New Orleans.
Yeah.
If they turn them over, they can. If they get to breeze and they can they can hit them hard and make them fumble, or they can deflect a pass and have the ball intercepted. Yeah, they could do that. It's the same thing with the Eagles. If they can get to Matt Ryan, make him fumble or get their hands on the ball while he's throwing, or make him throw a bad pass. Things like that can happen, but that's what's going to have to happen. You're going to have to win the turnover battle, and it'll probably have to be like by 2. You'll have to win like 3-1.
They have a shot. When Carson Wentz went down, I gave the Eagles a 30% shot to reach the Super Bowl. I gave them a 0% shot to win the Super Bowl. That's still my opinion. That's still extremely fair. Look, I have an Eagles sweatshirt on right now. What do you want me to wave pom-poms in the air too and tell you everything's going to be okay?
Unfortunately,
when it's probably not going to be okay.
A lot of the guys
the season ended December 4th as far as the championship goes.
A lot of people get angry with me, I know, in particular, about the fact that I'm not going to give the Eagles the benefit of the doubt. No, they
don't deserve the benefit of the doubt.
Not with Carson Wentz out. Carson Wentz, I mean, as much as I couldn't stand watching it, I mean, the Eagles just won so easily when he was out there. I know maybe they were playing some soft teams at times, but it was so easy. They didn't even break a sweat in these games. I mean, it was just like you'd sit there and you'd watch, and it was like a finely tuned machine.
Right.
They go out there and just score.
And the defense fed off that.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, maybe the defense might give. I mean, but a typical Eagle game was around 21-7 at halftime.
Yeah, it's
that
conservative.
That would be that's
in some of those games.
Some of them were worse, but I mean, it just seemed like it always seemed like if you were tuning into the game in the second quarter, it was already 21-7 for the Eagles. Always. I mean, they always had 2 or 3 touchdowns on the board already. And even if they got off to a bad start, if they punted a couple of times, they'd still come back and their defense would stop the other team a couple of times, and then they'd be putting more touchdowns on the board. It's like the Bear game. The Bears looked like they were playing real well against the Eagles, and then before you know it, at halftime, I think, what was it, 17-3? Something like that, right? Yeah. I mean, and the Bears looked like they were pretty good in that game.
But I mean,
they weren't.
You want to tell me I give them no shot? I give them 30% chance to win 2 games and get to the Super Bowl. That's pretty generous, I think, without Carson Wentz.
Well, without your starting quarterback, yeah. I mean, you don't have your starting quarterback. It's hard to win in this league with a backup quarterback. It doesn't happen all that often. It just doesn't. If you look at the history of this league and you take a look at backup quarterbacks, I mean, the last backup quarterback that I can remember that won was Hostetler. Am I wrong about that? Was there a backup quarterback that won after that? I know Frank Reich won a playoff game.
Trent
Buffalo,
Dilfer started the season as the backup in 2000.
Yeah, but he ended up being the starter, though.
Tony Banks was the starter.
Oh. Okay, so you're going from if we're going on a scale of 1 to 10, you're going from a 3 to a 2. I mean, a legitimate starting quarterback.
Well, I mean, you asked.
All right. Okay. Well, all right. I mean, if you want to get it to that, if you want to make it look like that, okay, that's a fair comment. But I mean, there's not that many. I mean, just going back and trying to remember. I mean, Craig. No, he wasn't. That's right. Craig Morton and Roger Staubach were going back and forth. So that doesn't. So
Why in the world is there a Chris Webber jersey touching an Allen Iverson jersey on this Wall of Fame here? That's an absolute disgrace.
oh boy.
There's a reason behind it. I don't remember the full reason, but it's there.
It better be a damn good reason because Chris Webber was an absolute sweat. The Sixers.
There's a Tom Arnone answer.
I hated Chris Webber. He was such a mutt.
He was a dog when he got here.
That better be a damn good explanation from our El Presidente. Is it time for a break, Frank?
It is time for a break, so I'm going to play you guys out until we go to the break.
Sport Towns, Rob Brinkman, Brad Ryer. We'll be back right after this.
A2DRadio.com is proudly sponsored by Gibson Mayer LLC Certified Public Accountants. Gibson Mayer, located in Yardley, PA, is a leading accounting and business consulting firm with a proven track record of handling critical issues with expertise across many different industries, including construction, distribution, hospitality, manufacturing, real estate, service trades, merchandising, professional services, and professional athletes. Give them a call at 215-369-3300. That's 215-369-3300. Your initial consultation is always free, and if you tell them that Tom and Mike from AM and the PM sent you, you'll receive 15% off all income tax services completed by February 15th. That's Gibson Mayer LLC Certified Public Accountants, 215-369-3300, or visit them on the web at www.gibsonmayer.com. That's gibsonmayer.com.
Hey, do you need to get your skills in shape? Then contact the Scanzano Sports Center, located at 5 Carnegie Plaza in Cherry Hill, New Jersey. You can give them a call at 856-889-3434 or visit them on the web at www.scanzanosports.com. John Scanzano offers individual, semi-private, and team training lessons in hitting, pitching, catching, outfield, along with turf rentals. The Scanzano Sports Center is equipped with a 31,000 square foot indoor facility, 4 batting cages, and a 4,000 square foot strengthening and conditioning room. So what are you waiting for? Contact the Scanzano Sports Center today.
A2DRadio.com is proudly sponsored by Gibson Mayer LLC Certified Public Accountants. Gibson Mayer, located in Yardley, PA, is a leading accounting and business consulting firm with a proven track record of handling critical issues with expertise across many different industries, including construction, distribution, hospitality, manufacturing, real estate, service trades, merchandising, professional services, and professional athletes. Give them a call at 215-369-3300. That's 215-369-3300. Your initial consultation is always free, and if you tell them that Tom and Mike from AM and the PM sent you, you'll receive 15% off all income tax services completed by February 15th. That's Gibson Mayer LLC Certified Public Accountants, 215-369-3300, or visit them on the web at www.gibsonmayer.com. That's gibsonmayer.com.
Hey, do you need to get your skills in shape? Then contact the Scanzano Sports Center, located at 5 Carnegie Plaza in Cherry Hill, New Jersey. You can give them a call at 856-889-3434 or visit them on the web at www.scanzanosports.com. John Scanzano offers individual, semi-private, and team training lessons in hitting, pitching, catching, outfield, along with turf rentals. The Scanzano Sports Center is equipped with a 31,000 square foot indoor facility, 4 batting cages, and a 4,000 square foot strengthening and conditioning room. So what are you waiting for? Contact the Scanzano Sports Center today.
Hi, folks. Bob Mannery here. You're listening to A2D Radio, real sports talk radio for the fans, by the fans, no agenda. These guys are the best in the business. Hashtag it. No notes.
Welcome back. BMW Lang City Studios. Rob Brinkman, Brad Ryer. We're the Sports Hounds, getting ourselves on the record here. One more comment before we get ourselves 100% on the record and pick these games. I don't know if I like this picking these games on a Monday.
Well, I mean, that's
we
when
will.
we're on.
We will. That's when we're on. Yeah, I know. Scotty Giggs, would the Saints or Falcons have a 30% chance of winning with their backup quarterback?
No.
Absolutely not.
But that's the whole point,
Well,
guys.
Howie Rose, the Eagles are extremely, extremely fortunate that they have Nick Foles in the mix in their quarterback room.
At least they don't have somebody who's just totally, incompetent that can't do it.
Right.
I mean, there's a lot of teams that don't have a guy like that. I mean,
There's a lot.
Look at the Giants' backup quarterback, for crying out loud. It was Geno Smith. I mean, how would you like to have him? Ugh. Anyway.
All right, let's get ourselves on the record.
Okay, here we go. Rob, I'm going to let you make the picks first. Atlanta -3 at Philadelphia, 4:35 p.m. on Saturday.
I'm laying the 3. I'm picking the Falcons. I'm picking the Falcons 27-14.
Okay. Next we go to New England, 8:15 p.m. start as they welcome in the Tennessee Titans.
Go to the next
the
game.
line is 13.5.
55-10.
Okay.
55-10 Patriots.
Okay. Jacksonville then on Sunday at 1:05 p.m. visits Pittsburgh. The line is 7.5 for Pittsburgh.
I hate those halves.
Yeah, I know.
That hook.
But they're all. I'm looking every.
Might have to buy it down.
all the
Might have to
lines.
buy it down there, Frank, at Planet Hollywood.
All the lines here are 7.5. That extra half a point.
I guess the Steelers.
It's not a lock like New England, though.
No, not at all. But I mean,
Can the Steelers score?
that'd be
more
such
than,
a buzzkill if it's the Patriots against the Jaguars.
Let me ask you a question. Can the Steelers score more than 17 points?
Yeah, they can.
Okay, if they score more than 17 points,
They're going to
they'll
have their
cover the
revenge
line.
factor too, because they got absolutely clobbered at home earlier in the season.
they
by
were
the Jaguars.
annihil-
I'll lay the
they were annihilated.
7.5 there with
Okay,
the Steelers.
So you're gonna lay the lumber, and
Mhm.
New Orleans +4 in Minnesota Sunday at 4:40
Yeah, that's
p.m.
Saints +4. That's 27-10.
Okay,
27-10
okay.
Saints.
So there you have it. Now my picks: Atlanta and Philadelphia. I am going to go with Atlanta, and I am going 21-17. I'll spot the 3 points. Tennessee and New England. Rob said 55-10. I like 52-17. So we're on the same page there. I'm going to go with Pittsburgh. I like Pittsburgh 19-3. So I'll lay the 7.5 points. And the Saints. I love the Saints to win the game outright. If you want to really daring,
What's the money line there?
I don't have the money line here, but you know what? I would take the money line
Come on, Brad.
and the 4 points.
Let me get the money line for you.
Yeah, I have the over unders here, but I don't have the money lines here. But I like the money line. I like New Orleans to win the game. You know, especially with them getting points.
Yeah, Eagles have a better chance at winning their respective playoff matchup than the Vikings do, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. What do you let's see, what is the money line on that game? Let's see.
I mean, that's even Case Keenum against Drew Brees. That's a bigger there's a bigger gap in talent there than Matt Ryan and Nick Foles.
Oh, absolutely.
Who's better, Nick Foles or Case Keenum?
I like Nick Foles better.
You like Nick Foles better than Case Keenum?
Yes, I do.
I agree.
Yes, I do. Case Keenum is going to have to prove something to me. You know, he's a lot better than he was last year, and he's proven a lot to me this year that he is, in fact, an NFL quarterback, because I don't know what he was last year, but he was pathetically bad last year. So
Saints are plus 170 on the money line.
170. 170. I love it. I would take the Saints in the 170, and the Saints plus the 4.
I think the Saints are going to be in the Super Bowl when all this plays out in the
That's right.
in
They
the
would
NFC.
have home field too. Yeah, I mean,
They have
I could
home
see
field
that.
against
see that.
Atlanta in the championship.
I could see that. I mean, it would be real close. That would be a real close game. But both of us agree on all these games. So
We do. It's either going to be really good or really bad.
yeah, we're either going to be the princes or the pond scum come
Yeah.
next Monday, which is
Pits of misery.
yeah, exactly. Dilly.
All right, where do you want to go next, Brad?
Well, you know what?
Where do you want to go next?
I want to go to baseball because I can't believe that it is now January the 8th
No one signed.
and no one is signing. What is going on?
They're all watching football, I guess.
We're not getting very many trades. I mean, the Yankees' biggest move, other than the Stanton trade, has been signing Jace Peterson. I mean, do I even know who he is? He's somebody on the Atlanta Braves.
I mean, come on. You got Stanton. You want everybody?
Well,
I mean,
no,
it's Jock's
but-
brother. That's all you know about
Yeah.
Jace
Oh,
Peterson.
okay, all right. Well,
Jock Peterson, he's not very good.
yeah, I was gonna say he maybe
Not a
he's-
fan.
I
I
mean,
hope he's
he
better
was
than
he
that.
had that flash in the pan moment, but that was it.
I mean, he's one of these guys that's going to hit 215 and hit 30 homers. That's not the type of player I want to build around.
No. But he's a nice piece to the puzzle.
But I mean, come on,
Have a
man.
good
You're
team.
gonna fret about Jace Peterson when you have Stanton and
Well,
Judge in the middle of your lineup.
Actually, the guy I would like to see them try to get, and I know you're gonna laugh that I
What?
can do better.
Clayton
than
Kershaw.
this. No.
Manny Machado.
No.
Because the Yankees deserve everybody.
No, because I don't want to trade my minor league players. A guy that I think they can get on the cheap
Why?
that would be very, very, very good would be Brandon Phillips. I think he would be a nice piece. You could put him in at second or third. When Torres
See,
and
I don't like
Andujar-
that. I don't like that for the Yankees. It's a career National League player.
Yeah, but he should be able to hit the American League, and I think he'd hit well in Yankee Stadium. And, and he's
Probably.
been around.
I mean,
He's got
everyone
some experience.
hits well in Yankee Stadium.
This is very true. But I think if he's the kind of guy. I think if you could either put him at second or you can put him at third. If Torres or Andahar, whichever one, if either one of them wash out, at least you could put him in there, and you could have a serviceable player at either second or third, just in case one of them washes out. I mean, because I as a Yankee fan, I can't guarantee that both those guys are going to be great players this year.
On the Phillies front, did you see Markele Fultz shenanigans in the Dominican Republic?
Boy, oh boy! You know what? What is he thinking? He's going out partying?
He was on Instagram at a club partying at 6 a.m. and he had to be at the ballpark at 4, and he was sent home.
He still doesn't get it. He's been around too long.
He should be working hard after hitting 208 last year. He was dreadful.
He had a bad season. I guess the Phillies don't want to move him because
How can you move him?
Market, yeah, he has no market right now. So
you gotta hope he comes out motivated and starts hitting, then trade him, or hopefully stays on track and you have a third baseman.
Hopefully for him, I mean, I wonder if he realizes this is the put up or shut up year for him.
Clearly not. If he is at party on Instagram when he has a game the next day, a playoff game at that. In the Dominican Winter League.
I understand if there's a regular season Dominican game. I understand that, but a playoff game, you can't do that in a playoff game. Because all the scouts are going to be down there watching. I mean, you just can't do that. It's just not smart. Not smart. I mean, what are the Phillies connected to right now? What are we looking at?
Not much.
You keep hearing everybody is.
They added 3 people to their radio broadcast team today.
Yeah, and they got rid of
Kevin Jordan.
They got rid of Wheeler.
Now Wheeler's been. I don't know who that. I don't really know what's going on, but that Kevin Franzen's going to be doing some radio work. Kevin Jordan, if you remember him, out there.
Is Jim Jackson still going to be on the radio there?
Hopefully, he's our boy.
Yeah, and I think he's an outstanding announcer. I mean, especially with hockey. I mean, he's hilarious. He's one of these guys, and even as a Ranger fan, usually
he's good.
Usually I don't like Flyer announcers. I couldn't stand Gene Hart. I always had this fantasy of beating the crap out of him because I just thought he was a fat loudmouth jackass. But I know you guys are probably going to really want to beat the crap out of me for saying that about a Philadelphia legend. But if you weren't a Flyer fan,
he said the F word on a radio broadcast.
That fat legend.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, I'm not allowed to call people fat, am I?
I don't care.
Oh, okay. Well, anyway,
who cares?
He's but between
we're far from PC here on the Sports Hounds.
This is
true.
I don't
care.
But between him and Don Earl, I mean, cheering every time the Flyers scored. You wanted to pull your hair out. It's just like, can you just broadcast the darn game, guys? Come on. Seriously, but Jim Jackson's hilarious. I mean, he'll call out the Flyers when they're doing dumb things, and so does Keith Jones. I mean, I think they're a good listen. I mean, obviously they're pretty pro Flyer, and I'm okay with that as long as they're fair. They're always pretty fair with everybody. Kind of like, but Jim Jackson has always been very kind to us on the radio. So
yes, he has.
We always
getting back to the Phillies.
Root for him.
The most smoke there is on one of these free agents is Alex Cobb. There seems to be smoke there with the Phillies. He was part of my Philadelphia Phillies off-season plan, so I would be 100% in favor of signing him.
He would be very good. You know what? The only thing I'm looking at is, I mean, what is going on? Do you think it's just a lot of these owners are holding out because they want to get bargains?
I mean, who knows?
Is Cobb with a Boris guy, or is he with somebody else?
I couldn't tell you.
Yeah, I wonder because
everyone's paying relievers just ridiculous money.
Yeah, because I know the Yankees checked in on Yu Darvish, and I think
what did Wade Davis get? He got like $52 million from the Rockies.
Right. No, he got more than that. Didn't he get more than that?
Something.
No, you're right. He got 3 years and $52 million.
For a closer?
3 years and $52 million. That's almost as much as
They
Chapman.
overpaid three relievers.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I don't understand.
That's crazy.
I don't understand.
As
You can
long
only
as-
use these guys when you're winning,
Yeah, I know. And they only pitch 1 inning.
and they only pitch 1 inning.
Yeah, so that means the most they're going to pitch, and they're only going to be used in a close game.
Right.
So, how often are they going to be used? 3 times a
Especially
week?
in Colorado.
Well, Colorado's going to win a lot of games.
Well, there's
so-
not a lot of close games in Colorado. You know, they score
close
a lot
games.
of runs.
Okay, yeah, good point. Good point.
So I don't know
So-
what they're doing. I don't agree with their off-season plan at all.
Yeah, what's he going to do? Pitch twice a week? Maybe 3 times a week? Yeah, why would you spend all that money?
That's
on a guy?
fine.
Yeah,
Pay one of those guys, not 3.
yeah, that's too much. I would agree with you.
Because the Brian Shaw guy from the Indians, I think he got $27 million.
for what? 3 years? 2 years? 2 years.
Yeah, 2 or 3 years.
Yeah. Who did he sign with?
He's with the Rockies as well.
Okay. So he signed with the Rock. And Boone Logan, I think, just who did he agree with? Didn't he just sign with somebody? I'm trying to think who he signed with. He just left the Indians, but he got like $8 million a year. I think he just signed with Milwaukee or somebody like that.
So I don't understand, but I mean, the Phillies signed Carlos Santana. I guess that's all right.
That's a good
Hoskins
sign.
going to left.
That's a good
Hoskins is
sign.
going to left.
That's a good sign. I mean,
Which I'm
but
fine.
what is
If you're
going on
gonna-
with these pitchers, though? I mean, Yu Darvish, from what I heard, wants $150 million for 5 years.
I would pay him that for 5 years.
That's what he's looking for. Nobody wants to pay him that.
That's what he's worth.
I know, but everybody's all upset because he tips his pitches. So I don't know.
Well, then,
what does Jake
pay-
Arrieta? What does Jake Arrieta want? I'm trying to figure out. I haven't heard anything about what.
but he's
going to
get a little bit less than Darvish.
Okay, but I wonder.
Guys
what
like
that's gonna-
Arrieta, until Hosmer signs, until Darvish signs, until J.D. Martinez signs, they got to set the market for these other. Once one of those top guys signs, it's going to be a domino
Well, from
effect.
what I'm hearing with J.D. Martinez and the Red Sox have been has been basically playing chicken. J.D. Martinez wants 7 years, and the Red Sox only want to give him 5. And I think he wants $25 million a year, and
Not
the
as
Red
smart.
Sox don't want to give him more than 20. So I mean, as far as I'm concerned, I think if the Red Sox pay that guy that money, they're nuts.
Why would the Red Sox not sign Eric Hosmer? He's perfect for Fenway Park.
Too late now because they already signed Mitch Moreland.
What are
so.
you doing?
I don't know. You know what? They've got a lot of money wrapped up in Hanley Ramirez. Hanley Ramirez is their Jacoby Ellsbury.
But I mean,
So-
you want to get yourself all worked up in an arms race with the Yankees, who have Stanton and Judge now, and you're throwing out Mitch Moreland at first base in the AL East.
Oh, the Yankees are throwing out Greg Bird. I mean, Greg Bird isn't quite in that isn't in the Stanton Judge class.
I understand, Brad, but the Red Sox don't have thumpers like Stanton and Judge in their outfield.
Either. They do have Betts though. He's a good
They have
hitter.
Betts.
Betts is a good
Benintendi's
hitter.
a nice player.
Yeah.
Bogarts, I don't know what's going on with Bogarts. I don't know who.
He's on the track. Is
Xander-
he on the block? And is
I don't know
Jackie-
who Bogarts is.
Jackie Bradley, is he on the block? Because I keep hearing Jackie Bradley might get traded. I mean, I think part of the other thing is that J.D. Martinez has also told the Red Sox that he doesn't want a DH. Boy, I'll tell you what, you get a guy like that's starting making demands like that. I mean, that can't be good. I mean, if Giancarlo Stanton doesn't have a problem DHing with the Yankees and splitting time in right field and left field, if a guy like that doesn't have a problem with it, what is up with J.D. Martinez?
I'm 95% sure that J.D. Martinez is a Scott Boras guy.
Yeah, he is a Scott Boras.
So who
guy.
knows what Scott Boras is saying, and who knows what J.D.
But
Martinez is saying?
He apparently, and you do know he's a butcher in the outfield. He's not a
defensive
not
player.
a good outfielder. He wants to play right field. That would move Mookie Betts to center, which means they'd have to trade Jackie Bradley. And I don't think they really want to trade Jackie Bradley because
No, he's a phenomenal defensive player.
He doesn't want to. He doesn't want a DH. And you know what? I mean, that's to me. I would.
So this is why you sign Eric Hosmer and put him at first base.
Yeah, Eric Hosmer is a good soldier. I have a feeling, and maybe I'm wrong, but I have a feeling Arizona's going to get him back, J.D. Martinez.
Maybe.
Because I don't think the Red Sox are going to pay him. I think that they've been staring at him and staring at him, and I think at some point they're just going to say, you know what, it's enough already.
Where's Hosmer going to go?
Well, that's. I mean, I think he's going back to Kansas City.
According to reports, both the Padres
I've heard the Padres
and the Royals have 7-year offers on the table.
Yeah, I think he's going back to Kansas City. I mean, if he's gonna if it's between Kansas City and San Diego, why leave Kansas City? It's not like San Diego is going to be competing for a World Series anytime soon. Not in that division. Not with the Dodgers, and the Giants are going to be better, and the Rockies are certainly.
That's like when the Nationals signed Jason Worth from the Phillies. They gave him all that money for all those years.
Yeah,
it was a year early, but they wanted to make a statement that they wanted to try and start winning.
Yeah, I mean
that's fine. That's fine.
It is,
I applaud them for doing that.
But if you're Hosmer,
Hosmer's a great building block too, because Will Myers stinks.
well, he can hit.
No, he can't.
Well, he hit the. He
He
did
hit
have
like
a bad-
237
He had 243
last
last year or something like that. Yeah, he had a bad year last year. So I don't know. I mean, but if you're Eric Hosmer, wouldn't you? I mean, if it's a choice between, listen, if it's the Dodgers offering you all that money, that's one thing. But I mean, it's San Diego. I mean, I would just go back. If I were him, I'd just go back to Kansas City. I mean, I know Kansas City's hurting right now. They probably have, from what I've read, they have the worst farm system in baseball right now. So they've got to make some moves to build up that farm system if they're going to rebuild that team.
Well, that's why you pay people like Eric Hosmer to come play.
Well, yeah. No, I know. But Kansas City they foolishly spent all that money on Alex Gordon.
That was one of the dumbest baseball moves in my generation.
Yeah.
Was signing Alex Gordon to all that money.
Yeah, I mean
They ruined everything.
They did.
Now they can't afford Hosmer and Kane when they should have let Gordon walk.
Or Moustakas.
Or Moustakas.
And to be honest with you, if I had a choice of Hosmer, Kane, or Moustakas, I think I'm taking Hosmer.
Right.
He's the one guy I think you can really count on. That's
Hosmer,
gonna have a good year.
Mustakas would be two. If they let Gordon walk, like they should have.
Yeah, they should have. I mean, and Kane had a real bad start last year, and he finished pretty well. But
Kane's solid.
He's solid, but I mean, he's not worth spending a ton of money on.
I agree.
I mean, if you're the Red Sox, do you consider bringing in Kane?
What do you mean?
Is he good enough?
In Kane. Why would they do that?
They want another bat.
That's not.
He's not really enough. Nah, he's probably not enough.
If you don't, maybe they should sign Moustakas, the Red Sox.
The Red Sox? Yeah, but why would you sign Moustakas when you've got that third baseman they brought up at the end of last season was really good. I'm trying to remember his
Devers.
name. Devers, yeah. I mean, Rafael
right,
Devers.
But you're going to have
really
him
good.
going through his slumps while the Yankees are running away with the division. They got to do something.
You really think he's going to go through slumps, though?
Who?
Devers.
He's 20 years old, yes.
He was really good last year, though.
Everyone goes through slumps. It's baseball.
Well, the Yankees are going to have guys that are going to go through slumps, too. I mean, Judge had a 2-month slump last year. Cost him the MVP.
Yeah, I mean, right. But an Aaron Judge slump compared to another person's slump.
The other 4 months are 52 home runs. So,
right.
Yeah. No, I get your point. The Red Sox really need to make a statement. I guess the biggest statement they can make offensively is J.D. Martinez.
Who's the second best team in the AL East?
I think the Red Sox are. I think the Yankees are the best.
That's a distant second.
I think the Yankees. I mean, I know I'm a Yankee fan. I'm probably being a little biased, but I do think that they have right now the best team in the American League East. Especially the way they built the team with all these great right-handed hitters. They basically built their team to be able to beat the Red Sox, who are loaded with left-handed pitchers. So, I mean, they definitely did it the right way. Insofar as that's concerned, I mean, if you're gonna come at me with Price, with lefties like Price
gonna be okay?
I don't know, but Price, Sale, and who's the guy that you had, the lefty that was on your fantasy team, Pomeranz.
Yeah, he's good.
Yeah, he's good too, and he's left-handed as well. So I mean, that's why they loaded up on right-handed hitting now. So I mean, Gleyber Torres Andahar, who are the two kids that they think are going to play second and third, they're both right-handed as well. So they've kind of loaded up the team, even though it's not stadium friendly as far as Yankee Stadium goes to have all these right-handed hitters. But getting back to the Phillies, okay, what do you think it's going to take to sign a guy like Cobb? I mean, have they ever mentioned numbers anywhere? Or?
I haven't seen anything. No, I mean, like 80 mil probably.
See, if you did 5 years, 80 mil, I think that would be about right for a guy like him.
Fine contract.
Yeah,
it's fine.
I mean, that'd be fair.
You have fine contract.
Yeah, I think if they did that, they'd be right in line. And you know what? That team really does have to get some pitching.
They have no arms.
No, Aaron Nola is a real good pitcher. I mean, he's a 2 at worst, a 1A, maybe even a 1 at best. So I mean, you have a nice pitcher on the top of your rotation. I think a guy like Alex Cobb, he'd be a perfect number 2. You know, he could be a 2 or maybe or on a real good pitching staff, he's a number 3. But I mean, he'd be a nice piece. Because you know what, the Nationals this is probably the last year that the Nationals are going to be a big-time team. Because I seriously doubt Harper's going to be around. Gio Gonzalez is going to be gone. Is he a free agent yet, or is he?
Gio Gonzalez?
Yeah.
I believe he's a free agent right now.
He's not going to be there next year. I mean, they may.
The team you look at is the Braves in the National League.
What about Daniel Murphy?
National League East.
What about Daniel Murphy? Is he a free agent, or is this his last year?
He's still under contract.
Okay, so
he
got
just
one
had
more year.
he just had off-season surgery, so we'll see about that.
Yeah, but this year
team
is
in the
probably,
NL East that could step up is the Braves.
Yeah,
they just got a lot of talent. They just took on a lot of talent that had bad contracts from the Dodgers.
And they have a lot of young.
They have Freddie Freeman. They have.
They also have the best farm system according to MLB Pipeline in baseball. So I mean that as far as that goes, I mean they've got some good young players on the way. But I mean, really, the Phillies should be looking at trying to build up a team, maybe not to compete in 2018, but definitely to compete in 2019. Because you know what, this is probably it for the Nationals. Max Scherzer is not getting any younger. As far as Strasburg never seems to be able to pitch a whole season without getting at least 1 or 2 injuries.
Well, he did last year, and he was a stud, but that's really the first time he ever did.
Didn't he miss? Wasn't he on the DL once?
I mean, everyone goes on the DL once.
It seems like if you're a pitcher, you go in the DL, especially.
Definitely.
But I mean, my whole point is they're within reach, the Nationals, especially after this year, because Harper's going to be gone. So,
I mean, the Mets could be interesting too. I mean, if Thor comes back strong.
Well,
you got DeGrom at the top there.
Yeah, so you got 2 pitchers. Who knows about Mats? Harvey.
Ahmed Rosario is as good as everyone says he's going to be.
Yeah, but the problem with the Mets is who's playing third, who's playing first, and
Dominic Smith should play first. I don't know why they
don't like him. He only hit 176 last year, and they said his work habits are terrible. You know, and he didn't hit the ball well in the Arizona Fall League. They're very down on him for whatever reason. I mean, he's a young player. I think you got to give him more of a chance than that. But be that as it may, the Mets right now, you're looking in the outfield. I guess they have Conforto.
He's a beast.
Yeah, Conforto is really good. Conforto, Cespedes, and Lagares, I guess, is their outfield. So I guess their outfield's okay, but third base they don't have anybody. I mean, second base as Drupal Cabrera.
Well, I mean, everyone's going to be able to pile up wins on the Marlins 19 times a year.
Yeah, that's for sure. I mean, I'll tell you what. And looking at the Mets, a good player for the Mets would be Mike Moustakas. Because if you look at it, who's going to play third right now? Cabrera is either going to play second base or third base.
He's too old.
So he's probably going to play. They probably need him to play second. So you got to get a third baseman. I mean, you can't get David Wright's not going to.
They could still have Daniel Murphy.
Yeah, but they don't have Daniel Murphy.
No, because they're a bunch of idiots.
Yeah, Daniel Murphy. Yeah. You know, sometimes.
Oh well.
Yeah, you know,
what a shame.
Sometimes if you have a second baseman who's hitting 325 and can hit 25 home runs a year, if he's not the best fielder in the league, you can still put up with the guy because he hits 325 and hits 25 home runs a season. I remember when he was a free agent, when the Mets didn't sign him, I wanted the Yankees to sign him because I just thought, with that left-handed stroke in Yankee Stadium, he would be perfect. He wouldn't be a bad choice for the Phillies to play third base. If Franco doesn't get it together and next year when he's a free agent. He's another one. But for the Mets, they should definitely be looking at that. I've heard some reports that they want to go after Jay Bruce, but they're so cheap, that team. I don't see them doing anything. That's what I'm saying. The Phillies are in a position right now where they can challenge if they're willing to spend some money and be smart. Because I'll tell you what, if they wait till the last week of January, which is when I think all heck is going to break loose in Major League Baseball, and when the pieces are coming together, I think that's where they can, strike. They can improve this team. They can compete. There's no question about that. You know what? Get yourself in a position where you can be like a 500 team this year and get close enough so that when the Nationals fall, and they will fall after this year, because this is it for them, the National League East will be for the taking. Don't just hand it to the Braves, because if they don't do anything, they're going to end up handing it to the Braves. I hate to see that. I mean, the Braves right now, by far,
But the Phillies don't seem to be interested in spending any money this offseason, which doesn't make any sense to me.
Well, how many young guys are going to – I mean, I know I was looking at their farm system, and
their farm system's overrated, in my
their
opinion.
farm system right now has 7 number one top-tier players on their team and three top two-tier.
What publication did you read?
I'm trying to remember which one I read this morning. I think it was MLB Pipeline.
Okay.
They're saying now, and that this same pipeline said that the Yankees also have seven top tier and 3 second tier. They said the Braves had 8 top tier and 2 second tier young players in their organization. So I mean, the Phillies are loaded. They've got some guys in the farm.
I'm trying to tell you they're not loaded. I'm trying to tell you they're not.
Yeah, but everybody else is. I'm just
and
saying.
half their prospects play outfield.
Oh, that's a problem.
Which they just had to move the top prospect, to the outfield, so that.
Well, where do they need the most help? They second base, they're pretty strong.
Yeah, second base they have Kingery.
What are they going to do with What are they going to do with Cesar?
I don't know, because he's a good player. He could help a team win.
Could they move him to third? Does he have the arm for third? I mean, you've seen him play enough.
No, I mean, I don't like him at third. No, he doesn't have enough power.
Okay.
You need a thumper at third in the National League.
Yeah, because they don't have a DH. So you're right. That would probably.
And they're gonna have Hoskins in left, which is fine.
So he's probably trade.
Herrera in center. That's fine. I would keep him. I wouldn't trade him. And then you have. I like Altherr a lot.
Does Hernandez make a lot of money?
No.
He probably be. You know what? Thinking about it, you and I could probably figure out a trade between the Yankees and the Phillies. Yankees are loaded with pitching in their farm system.
I think Cesar Hernandez would be a great addition to any team, like the
Yankees. That would be. I mean,
any team.
I'm just looking at it. I mean, the Yankees need.
He hits for average. He's not a power hitter, but he has pop.
Yeah, because it all depends.
I wouldn't like him at third base every day, but
you could live with him there.
If you want to give someone a day off or something like that,
let's
put
put it
him
this
there.
way: if you got a guy,
he's a great utility man.
If Kingery has power and hits a lot of home runs, then you're getting power from a second baseman, where most teams don't.
I don't see how you go into spring training with both those guys on the roster. I don't see how you do it. I don't see how that's being a responsible general manager.
At some point, they probably have to. They're going to have to deal. I mean, but there's, it's still.
Well, then why don't they do something?
I think they want to deal. I'm not sure. I mean, they puzzle me because they really should be making some moves. They really should be. I mean,
I've been telling you this for weeks.
Even if they're trades, I mean, I understand if you don't want to spend the money, that's fine. If you don't want to spend the money because you're worried about giving up draft picks,
Yeah, but they think they're
fine.
they think they're gonna win 70 games this year.
How many?
But they think if they win 70 games, they think they're just gonna shell out all this money to these guys and they're gonna come. These guys aren't gonna come to a team that doesn't have a clue.
No, they're not going to come if they're
not
only winning 70
at least.
games. I mean, that's the problem with the one with all the guys
This
thinking
is why
that Machado
this
is
is
gonna
why
come.
you trade for Machado and sign him to a $500 million contract right away.
But that's the problem with trying to get a guy like Machado, because if the team is still only winning 70 games right now, if he came, they'd probably be a 500 team, and then all of a sudden, now you got yourself a team because
then if you get Machado in there, you
if
trade
if
all
you can
these.
sign him. If you have to sign him though.
Correct. Because then you have Carlos Santana at first. That's not bad. Kingery, who's supposed to be, if you don't have to trade him for Machado, that is, which I would have no problem trading Kingery in a Machado deal and just play Cesar Hernandez.
Machado
at
can also
first.
play. Machado can also play shortstop.
He wants to play.
Yeah,
supposedly, he wants to play short.
Yeah,
cool.
I've heard that too.
For
So,
$500 million, you can play the whole side, third and short.
Listen, I've seen him play short. He's pretty good there. I'll tell you what, he's unbelievable at third base.
But
he's,
then you got Hoskins in left, who looks like a stud. Santana at first. Herrera in center. Hopefully Crawford can be the prospect that they were hoping he could be.
well, they've got some. Good
That's a
young
lineup.
players.
That's the start of a lineup.
The only problem
right
with
there.
them trying to get Machado from the Orioles is the Orioles have no pitching. The only good pitcher they have right now is Bundy.
And he's not even that good.
He's okay. He's okay, and who's the other one? That Kevin Gossman, who's, as you know, he's very up and down. So he's not exactly Mr. Reliable. And then after that, their pitching is a mess. So, I mean,
Do you think Machado gets moved before the season, before spring training?
gun to my head, no.
You think he gets moved at the deadline?
Yes. I think that's when he gets moved. And I also think the same thing with Donaldson. I think that the Orioles, if they trade Machado, they're going to feel like they're punting on the season, and I just think that they're worried about ticket sales and people coming to the ballpark.
But the Orioles are going to stink.
I know,
with
but
or without
but
him.
they're not a smart organization.
No,
Rob,
they're not.
they
Is Buck Showalter still their manager?
yeah, but he doesn't. But he's not. But it's not his fault. Listen, Buck is a good manager. Buck,
Come on,
he's
he was a good manager in 1995.
He's annoying. He's an annoying manager because he makes the games extra long because he's constantly bringing in lefties to pitch to lefties and righties to pitch to righties. He can make you want to vomit with all that stuff because he can turn a 2.5-hour game into a 4-hour game. But Buck will manage the team and will continue to manage the team from innings 1 to inning 9. But, if they're not going to give him anybody out there to starting pitch, there's no way that team is going to contend. I don't care how many home runs they hit. When they hit a ton of home runs last year, it didn't matter.
That's true. That's how they're built.
Even though Trumbo didn't have a great year last year, I think he only hit 23 home runs, but they still, as a team, all those guys hit home runs.
Davis, Machado came on in the second
Yeah,
half.
they all hit home runs, but
Jonathan Scope.
Scope is an all-star now. I mean, they have a bunch of guys who can hit the ball, but if you're going to try to get him, you're going to have to give up at least one, maybe two top pitching prospects. Because I think they have one guy, and I don't remember his name, who's a really good pitcher in their farm system.
Who, the Phillies or the Orioles?
The Orioles. So I'm just saying, if the Phillies are going to try to get Machado from the Orioles, that's what the Orioles want as a pitcher. So I don't know. I mean,
Okay, give him Sixto Sanchez. No problem with that at all.
maybe they'll like Vinny Velasquez too. Who knows? I mean,
Oh my God!
yeah, well, no, I'm just saying. We
Vince Velasquez
not-
should close.
we're not
for the Phillies.
We're not GMs, so we don't really know what GMs think.
We should
think of
be.
these guys. Yeah, we might.
especially for baseball.
Yes,
We should be.
Yes, I would agree with you on that. But that's kind of it there. You really would like to see the Phillies make a move and get some things going. How are your Villanova Wildcats doing this year?
They are number 1 in the nation. Newly number 1
Newly
in the
number
nation. Today they had it. They lost it because they lost to Butler. They got it back. They are going to play Xavier on Wednesday night.
Big game. What's Xavier, number 5?
Big game. Top 5 matchup.
Wow.
Xavier might.
I think Xavier went down this past weekend.
I think they
They
lost.
lost to Providence.
They did lose to Providence.
Okay. Providence is always a good team.
Yeah, they're very scrappy. I like.
Yeah, so that's going to be on Wednesday
I
night.
like them.
Okay, so that's going to be.
So that's going to be
Where-
number one versus number 10.
Where are they
that
gonna
is at
be?
that is at the
Huge
Wells. That's at the Wells Fargo Center, South
Villanova's-
Philadelphia.
Villanova's going to beat them.
Interesting.
What about Markele Fultz now? What are we hearing with him? Is
It's
he going to start playing?
imminent. It's imminent.
Because I'll tell you what, that team.
Imminent. And you know what? That's when the clock starts on Brett Brown.
That team.
And I hate Brett Brown. I think he stinks.
I know.
Completely blows.
That team, in my opinion, should be the 4 seed in the NBA East.
Not without Fultz. No way.
When Fultz plays. When Fultz plays, they could be at the number 4 seed.
Yeah, your Knicks are showing their true colors, by the way. They
can't
stink.
They can't win on the road, Rob. They do everything in their power to lose. They tried
They
to.
stink.
They tried really hard to lose last night, but you know what? Dallas just doesn't have any centers. Between Cantor and O'Quinn, they dominated the boards and they scored a lot of points. So, but the Knicks can't win on the road. I mean, it's unbelievable the
You still
way
think they're going to go 41-41? No.
they have to win. They're going to have to win like 15 road games. I don't think they can do that.
They have the toughest January schedule, I believe, in the whole NBA.
Well, I think 14 of their next 19, if I'm not mistaken, because I was checking it out. I think 14 of their next 19 are on the road, and they have a 7-game road trip. And, you know, at some point, and I hate to say this because I know I sound like a whiner, but, you know, at some point, Kristaps Porzingis is going to get hurt again, and he's going to miss some time. It's kind of written. It's like Embiid. You just know that these guys are not going to play every game, and something's going to not let them play for a while. And when that happens, they're going to lose every game. And when they lose every game, they're going to fall apart, and that'll be the end of it. I mean, I couldn't believe they actually beat the Mavericks last night. That was a
Well,
shocker.
the Mavericks, they're not good.
I know, but the Knicks lost twice to Chicago, for crying out loud. Chicago. I mean, and
Brad, the Knicks aren't good.
they had an 8-point lead with 4 minutes to go against Miami the other night, and they lost that game. I mean,
But the Knicks
They
aren't
just-
good.
they don't have it. You know what? They really
The
need
Heat
a
have
point
more
guard.
talent than the Knicks.
I know, but they had the game though. They still had the game, and you know what? If Michael Beasley could score on them every time on the Heat. The Heat had no answer for them, and for some reason, they stopped giving him the ball. And then he got hurt in overtime, and then they couldn't score in overtime. But they couldn't stop him, and they would. And then you have these other guys just chucking up threes, and I don't get it. But they're not good enough. They don't. Their point guard situation is such. Jarrett Jack is terrible. He's not good. Ntilikina is going to be good, but he can't score. Has no shot. So I mean they're just not ready
Tough
yet.
for him to develop an offensive game when he's sitting on the bench most of the time.
Ntilikina,
Yeah.
he gets
Frank.
about 20, 22 minutes a game.
Frank. Yeah, Frank.
Yeah, he needs more. Yeah, he needs more. He needs more time. He needs to play more. But right now, I thought they were Rob, but the point guard situation is just such. And then you have Lance Thomas playing, and he's just not good enough. It is what it is.
10 o'clock here at A2D Radio. For Rob Brinkman, Brad Ryer, Frank producing. We'll see you next week. Hopefully we're previewing a Philadelphia Eagles NFC Championship appearance. Brad will be here with a special guest. I'll be in Vegas. See you next week.